Today is Thursday, May 2nd, 2019, Thursday of the second week of Easter, but also the memorial of Saint Athanasius, who was a bishop very active in the Christological controversies of the early church. I am looking forward to today. Jim Caviezel has joined the group and he will be with us today. We're heading up to the Sea of Galilee and I'm going to spend some time where Jesus did most of his preaching and spent the bulk of his time with his disciples. According to the schedule that we have for today, it's going to be a packed day, starting pretty much from the 5:30 wake-up call until the end of our conferences tonight at 10 o'clock at night. Spirit of Pilgrimage, we're going to go on the road right now for a couple of hours. It's going to be beautiful. We'll have a chance to pray together and spend some time together. I'm really looking forward to this particular day because, again, as I said earlier, this is where Jesus spent most of his time in ministry. Well, thus far, today's trip has been quite beautiful. We went through the desert. We have gotten some great explanations from Habib about the history of the land. And he's also given us a little bit of insight into some of the tensions and politics that go on here in the Holy Land. It's one big package, so it's kind of hard to separate them all because the history of this land has always been one of division. So we took this nice long bus ride this morning, a couple hours to get here. Now we're getting ready to go out on a little boat tour to go out on the Sea of Galilee. That's where miracles happen. That's where Jesus calmed the seas. Peter walked on the water. Okay, so we've made our way here. We're going to be going on to the boats here right now. We're boarding them right here.
Getting ready to take a little jaunt on the Sea of Galilee. After Jesus feeds the 5,000, they come out here. Jesus walks on water, which the fathers talk about as being a sign of the weightlessness of Christ because he has no sin in his life, and that's what we're ordered to as well. But one of the things that I find really interesting about this passage is it starts with the feeding of the 5,000, and then Jesus says, he goes and prays, right? And so you're talking about the relationship between the sacraments and prayer. And then here are the disciples out on the water and everything is going wrong. The waves are crashing all around them. And then Christ comes and he rescues them. And how many times do we have problems in our lives? So the waves are crashing all around us. And Christ leaves us hanging out there a little bit, right? Just to encourage us to patience and to a greater trust in him because he's always going to come and save us. God bless you.
Yeah, but it's great to be here. It's just amazing to see this. This is where Jesus preached, and I can't wait to go out into the sea and just experience just being with the Lord really in this very special way.
Hello, Father Patrick. How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Father?
Any better? I mean, we're on the Sea of Galilee.
It doesn't get any better than this. Well, it does, heaven, but this is it.
We're out on the Sea of Galilee. We are out on the sea itself. We're hoping to see like Jesus walking by, but I have to say probably one of my favorite parts of being here in the Holy Land is being up here in the Sea of Galilee and the surrounding areas. Unfortunately, it's a little hazy today, but in the surrounding areas are so many significant holy places. The Sermon on the Mount, St. Peter's home, Magdala. I mean, you know, it's just tremendous. And the blessings that we receive here are just perfect blessings.
In front, and of course, your Jim to be among the fathers, so that when the other boats will be coming in, Father Calloway will be leading us in the opening prayer and in the gospel reading.
You guys look awesome.
Throw you down.
I know, right?
With us, Jim Caviezel. Thank you, Jim, for being with us, brother. You've been here before, so you know the area. You've done filming here. I think I remember the movie. I can't remember. I mean, this is the actual place where our Lord walked on the sea and calmed the waters, and where the disciples went fishing. And 2,000 years has gone by, and it really hasn't changed, if you think about it. I mean, everything still looks relatively the same. Those are the same hills that the eyes of our Lord would have looked at. That hasn't changed. It's still the same. And now you're seeing it with your own eyes. So, as I read this passage, keep in mind that you're here at the exact spot where 2,000 years ago that this event took place. Then he made the disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowds. And after he had dismissed the crowds, he went up into the hills by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone. But the boat by this time was many furlongs distant from the land, beaten by the waves, for the wind was against them. And in the fourth watch of the night, he came to them walking on the sea. But when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified, saying, "It is a ghost." And they cried out for fear. But immediately he spoke to them, saying, "Take heart, it is I. Have no fear." And Peter answered him, "Lord, if it is you, bid me come to you on the water." He said, "Come." So Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came to Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Jesus immediately reached out his hand and caught him, saying to him, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased, and those in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. And to what Father Calloway was talking about, Jesus also knew that you would be seeing this right now and accept the blessings that he's giving to you.
Spirit of the living God, fall afresh on me.
Okay, we have to talk about like Haitian, and part of it I been praying for you guys. Like I told you this morning on my WhatsApp text, we've been praying for you. All right.
Now, I just run into this woman, Florence, here. This is Florence. She's actually from the Elmont Valley Stream area. She's in one of our charismatic prayer groups back in the States. She is the best. Ketley, next time it's you.
Here we are, fishing on the Sea of Galilee.
I'm guessing by all these buses that the Sea of Galilee is a very, very popular place.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Well, and it's very exciting to be here where our Lord walked.
Your first time?
It's my first time, over from Ireland.
So we just are going to make our way now around to over where the Mount of Beatitudes is. We have just arrived now at the Mount of Beatitudes. We're going to get a nice little tour of the area here. This is the site where Jesus gave the Sermon on the Mount, and so many miracles have happened here, and I'm going to be praying that a miracle happens for you.
How many of you have a pet at home? How many of you consider your pet to be a member of the family? Okay? That's right. It's okay. I get it. Whether it's your dog, your cat, your iguana, or whatever it is you collect.
So we're here on the Mount of Beatitudes. We just had some excellent words of wisdom from Matthew Leonard. We have had a chance to pray here. This little amphitheater is one of those places where they give talks and have masses. This is truly a blessed place. I'm going to go up now to the Church of the Beatitude and take a look around because it's an absolutely beautiful place to pray. Alanka's always got a smile on her face.
Still smiling.
Of course, the landscape forms a natural amphitheater.
This plaque right behind me here lists the 8 Beatitudes. This is the location where Jesus actually delivered the Beatitudes. So inside the chapel, they have the Beatitudes all written in Latin in their windows up above. So where are we, Charlie?
We're home.
Hey, all you OLPH ladies, all the ladies of Blessed Sacrament, look what I found.
Basta po, mula po dito sa Holy Land.
On the Beatitudes in Filipino, I found Filipinos.
I'm Kimberly Wynn.
Where are you from?
I'm from California, Los Angeles.
We've arrived at this location where the Church of Peter's Primacy is, where he was made the first pope. This is like a hugely important place, obviously, in the life of Jesus and the church. So we've now finally made our way here, right to the Sea of Galilee. It's right behind me here. And we're going to get a chance to dip our fingers in there, maybe our toes.
I'm standing on the Sea of Galilee. Can you believe it?
Inside this church, you find a stone right in front of the altar. And that's the very stone on which the risen Jesus stood when he called the disciples out of the Sea of Galilee and made breakfast for them. He made the breakfast right here. I place my hand on the stone in this location here. I want you to know that I said a specific prayer just for you. And all these holy things we've done today are all powerful, but now we're heading off for Holy Mass. Yeah.
The gospel says that Jesus went and entered directly into the house of Peter.
So we're leaving Capernaum now. We just had Holy Mass right over St. Peter's house, where they lowered the paralytic, where Jesus ate meals, and then have Mass on top of it. Doesn't get any better than this. This is where we were.